It was a cold morning in a small town. An old woman named Grace sat quietly near the window of her tiny house. She was tired not just from age, but from the weight of life. Grace had lost almost everything. Her husband had passed away years ago. Her only son had moved to another city, but recently, he had lost his job. Bills were piling up. Her fridge was almost empty. One evening, she sat down and whispered, "God, I don't understand why life is so hard. I have prayed every day, but nothing changes." She closed her eyes and cried silently. The next morning, Grace decided to sell a few old things. Maybe she could buy some groceries. She wrapped a few plates, an old clock, and a photo frame of her late husband, and went to the small flea market nearby. But no one stopped to buy. Hours passed. Her hands were cold, her heart even colder. She whispered again, "Maybe God forgot about me." At that moment, a small boy around 8 years old came near her stall. He looked poor, his shoes were torn, and his clothes were old. He held a few coins in his hand. He looked at the photo frame and asked softly, "Is this your husband, ma'am?" Grace smiled weakly. "Yes, dear. He was a kind man." The boy nodded. "My dad is gone too," he said quietly. "But my mom says, God never forgets us." Grace's eyes filled with tears. The boy placed his coins on the table and said, "I'll buy this frame. I'll put my dad's photo in it." Before Grace could speak, he ran away smiling. Later that day, Grace returned home with just a few dollars. She felt both sad and comforted. The boy's words echoed in her heart. God never forgets us. She placed the money on the table and prayed, "God, I still trust you, even when I don't understand." That evening, she heard a knock on her door. When she opened it, she saw a man in a delivery uniform. "Ma'am, a food package and an envelope for you." Grace was confused. "From who?" The man smiled. "It says, from someone who remembers your kindness from years ago." Inside the box was food, fruits, and warm clothes. And in the envelope, a note and a check for $10,000. The note said, "Years ago, you helped me when I was hungry and had no home. I never forgot your kindness. Today, it's my turn to help you. God always has a plan." Grace sat on the floor, crying not from sadness, but from pure faith. She whispered, "I thought God was silent, but He was working all along." Here is a lesson for all of us that sometimes, when life feels silent, God is writing a bigger plan. Never lose faith. Your prayers are not ignored. They're being answered in His time. What you give with love always comes back to you.